done, so it'll be just like next.
Welcome to the afternoon session.
Item number 47 is adopting a resolution placing the petroleum initiative on the November 4th, 2014 ballot.
This resolution takes the administrative steps necessary to have it on the November 4th, 2014 ballot. Its most critical aspect of this resolution is setting the ballot text, the ballot question, which has to be 75 words or less. Whether or not the board wants to spend the funds to actually publish the full text of the initiative, since it's fairly lengthy, it's up to the board. But we weren't recommending publication of the full text.
In our version, or the county council's version, shall San Benito County's general plan be amended to ban petroleum operations. The initiative people want to put a little bit more of a description to it, high intensity. And my understanding has always been that it's the high intensity has been the focus of the effort here. And banning petroleum operations would be banning all petroleum operations. And then what's crossed out kind of is what petroleum operations could be: exploration, drilling. It's everything. And a few times I've, talked to some of the people that were circulating the initiative. Their focus has always been on the fracking and the high intensity type of petroleum and eliminating that type of operations from residential areas and a few other areas that they state in this letter. And I don't see where we lose the unbiasedness with the suggested language that we have here. But,
and I tend to agree. I think if you add in high intensity, it clarifies it a little easier for residents, and you're able to probably reduce the question as far as the number of words that are in it.
I agree totally with Supervisor Botello and Supervisor Rivas. I think, I don't know if it was intentional, but it's been toned down, because when we had over 4,000 people sign our petition, the focus was high intensity and the methods, high intensity hydraulic fracturing, acidizing, and cyclic steam injection. So I think high intensity has to remain in the sample ballot. I think these 4,000 people that signed the petition would be disillusioned. As a matter of fact, I would like to have the whole initiative published so people can read it.
And on complicated issues like this, I think it's especially important that we try to make the issue that people are making their minds up about the most clear that we possibly can. The new ballot language that we are proposing gives the voters a quicker, more distinct impression of what the ballot initiative says. It draws the distinction very clearly between the locations in which we would be banning the high intensity, in my quotation marks, petroleum operations in the unincorporated areas, and then the general plan designations where we would be banning low intensity petroleum operations as well.
I'm going to address three issues here very briefly. The first is what I believe is a proposed misleading ballot question. It does not even have the word fracking. It does not make clear that there is not an absolute ban here, that certain low-intensity operations are allowed. And that distinction has to be drawn because it's, quite frankly, one of the largest issues on the ballot. County Counsel's office has suggested that the initiative should not be published in full in the voter's pamphlet, something that I find astonishing, because the object of all public officers should be to increase the franchise, to make things clearer to voters, not to hide proposed language. Terms here, but they don't want to publish the text of the initiative. That is wrong. This board has already voted to put this on the ballot on November 4th. A clear ballot question that, number one, states that this is about fracking. And by the way, the ballot question is supposed to come from the summary prepared by County Counsel. On the first page of that summary, there are 4 mentions of high-intensity oil operations. There are a couple of mentions that low-intensity oil operations are allowed to continue. That's mentioned a couple of times. So we're essentially making it less clear in the current proposal, rather than making it more clear.
If this body adopts language that is that doesn't accurately represent what the initiative is going to do, it's just going to continue to increase that cynicism and that distrust of elected officials, because people will find out that this language is not accurate. We'll be talking about it, of course, that indeed, even though it leads with banning conventional methods like drilling and exploration, that's really only in about 3% of the land in our county, which is rural and rural residential, etc. So people will know about it and will know that that this was a decision made that's not that's trying to disadvantage this democratic decision that the people of this county have really openly demonstrated that they want to make for themselves.
If people signing a petition are the same as voting, why have an election? The last speaker seems to think, oh, a lot of people signed the petition, therefore everybody must be for this. Okay, let's save a lot of money. Let's eliminate the election. Let's just have a petition based on people standing around interpreting what goes forward. I just want to make sure that it's an honest ballot measure. That somebody standing in a parking lot yelling, "Fracking kills your children," is not a vote. It's just somebody collecting signatures. In most cases, people collect signatures, are paid for it. Sometimes they're volunteers. Many times they lose at the ballot box, no matter how many signatures they bring in. What, no applause? Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My name is KRISTINA Chavez WYATT. I am a resident of San Benito County and a small business owner. And I'm here today also as a representative of San Benito United for Energy Independence. I fear that the proposed amended language is a misleading and deceptive attempt to shut down San Benito County's very small but vital oil and gas industry. The measure is written to suggest it would ban only certain types of extraction practices, but in reality, as Marty stated, they would prohibit all petroleum operations countywide, as traditional steam injection, for example, is necessary to extract the heavy crude oil in our area, which is the consistent of tar or asphalt. Low intensity, in addition, low intensity drilling is not defined in the proposed ballot language or within the summary, but as has been described in communications at our Chamber of Green Business Committee as what's called a stick and hole Jed Clampett style production, which I understand is not possible either in our county nor much less within the state of California. Just technically not the way that oil and gas is extracted or explored. If a full summary additionally is to be included in a sample ballot, it would be important for us to know how much it would cost for the translation, printing, and mailing of it. And I understand, as I was here at your meeting when you were looking at doing a fiscal analysis, that unfortunately you decided not to have that fiscal analysis done. So I think it's important that we understand the bottom line implications of printing and distributing that ballot language. Thank you very much.
The initiative is only, I believe, 6 pages long. I mean, that is not like an encyclopedia. So the other point I wanted to make is that the opposition, and I do believe some of them are getting paid by big oil and gas. We know from one Texas oil company, and that you can find on the FPPC website. But they say over and over again that we're banning all conventional oil throughout the county, which is a patent falsehood. Now, I'm not just yanking that out of my hat. I actually called and interviewed your planning department and your planners, It bans conventional oil drilling in 3% of the county. Yeah, okay, your house, your house. But let me tell you, this initiative doesn't really change that aspect of drilling in this county. And the way that staff opened up that 75-word pitch, that question that people are going to read when they go to vote, is so misleading. To ban all oil operations. Oh, and then we're kind of going to explain it. I just don't think it's fair, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went in to trying to save the water in this county.
Honoring Mother Earth is a must. After all, we came from the dust. Nobody in SBR is, I can guarantee you, is doing this for any kind of cash or anything. They're doing it out of the pureness of their heart for the community, for the future of this wonderful, town. It's a wonderful county. Miscellaneous oil companies are doing. I get so upset when I see commercials on TV saying that fracking is proven to be safe. You gotta be kidding me. That this girl, a little precious little child, had congestional heart problems and nosebleeds down in LA because she's near people that take oil deep in the soil. And Barbara Boxer, I commend her immensely for going down, investigating, and temporarily shutting it down.
So if someone is confused about what high intensity means, they can look it up in the back of the book. That's why we're saying it's very important to have the full text there. So we want to emphasize the contrast, the fact that not everything is banned, high intensity is abolished, low intensity is accepted. You can't do anything in residential rural areas because nobody wants to be sitting on their porch and be affected by this sort of procedure. I think the word fracking, if it's not there, that's deceptive, quite frankly, and that is in the initiative. In other words, the ballot question is supposed to take its language from the title and summary previously prepared by County Counsel, that it doesn't ban everything, that low-intensity operations are allowed, that this can't be done in the rural residential parts of the county. So basically that's why we've taken exception to what is proposed. We think it's misleading.
Yeah, I have no argument with that.
I'm against fracking, as all of you well know. But I'm not against petroleum operations, otherwise I wouldn't be driving a car. But I don't believe that this was done properly. There was no fiscal analysis done as I had requested when we first voted on this on May the 6th. The initiative is not clear to me as I think it should be. So with that being said, I will not be voting in favor of anything going on the ballot. So just want to make sure that the community knows the direction that I'll be going.
I think it's absolutely critical that the description is there quicker in the first sentence, and I'm going to support the proposed ballot question that was given to us. And I know you work hard on it, and a lot of it's here too.
Yeah, and the other option.
And I too will support publishing the document. I think this is a very important historical voting that the public's going to make, and I think we need to provide as much tools and as much education before they decide to make a vote on this item. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Supervisor Rios?
Yeah, as I stated previously, I as well am supportive of the secondary proposed ballot question as Supervisor Patello just spoke to for. And I as well want to see the entire initiative published. I think that's extremely important. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And that will be, my motion is to adopt resolution number 67 and amend the language for the ballot question, and also publish the full initiative.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, passes 4-1. So you have everything you need from us to put this on the ballot.
I think so. I think we can have-